Yeah, you do it right. You're right there on the next straightaway perfectly. If you do it right.
All right, let's see.
I never have.
Let me bring up YouTube.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to season number 20 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics. I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Larry Lefty McLeod, and we've got Dennis Branch and Jonathan Grabowski in the virtual production truck bringing you all the best camera angles and action that Apex Racing TV is known for. Last week, we kicked off season 20 at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, where John Allen and Dean Dibdahl conquered not only the corkscrew, but the rest of the CSS Pro and AM fields, and now we head to a land down under, where women glow and men plunder. So, Larry, when at Laguna Seca, we always take note of the corkscrew's 60-foot drop and the 180 feet of total elevation change, but the dry lagoon, it's got nothing on the Blue Hell's 570-foot rise and then fall, or its Macau-like confines as you wind your way down the mountain.
Yeah. This place is most definitely a mountain climb and a mountain drop. It is just a massive hill here at Mount Panorama, literally in the name. Beautiful track. And Greg, I'm super excited that we get to run our Miata Classic Sprints here because I think it's a great combination here. You always watch on TV every year for the Bathurst. They've got all the touring cars running around. Miatas are maybe not as fast as touring cars, but the racing is great. And there's plenty of drafting down the long straights. They come down toward the chase, and I think it's going to be a little bit of survival and a little bit of strategy to see who can come out on top tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, Larry. Of course, as you said, a little bit of survival. We've got the confines as you drop down through the S's and you go through the Dipper. You've got those walls on either side of you just basically waiting to suck you in. But then, you've got some rather long straights here. You've got the Conrad Straight, the long main straight here, which, we talk about the long straight at Summit Point Raceway, which is like maybe 3/4 of a mile. Here, it's almost 1.2 miles long, and it's broken up a little bit by that kink, by the chase, before you get down to the final corner. But, we also have the Mountain Straight as well, which is about 7/10 of a mile. So lots and lots of features here to challenge our Miata drivers. But tell you what, rather than us just talk about it and wax philosophical, why don't we turn things over to Kevin Ford? I hear he's broken out the big block Miata once again this week, Larry, and he is going to give us a little history lesson and a lap of Mount Panorama here at Bathurst.
Welcome everyone to Mount Panorama, located here in Bathurst, New South Wales, Australia. Great to have you with us today as we provide you your track guide in the Ford Mustang around this beautiful 3.8 mile road course. This is quite a unique course as it's made up of public roads, primarily for the residents to access their homes up and along the hillside of Mount Panorama, which you will see here momentarily. The inaugural event here was the Australian Grand Prix in 1938, which saw Peter Whitehead take the victory. They say the public is welcome to drive this course when events aren't taking place. However, the local police do monitor it heavily and limit your speed to just 37 miles per hour. Well, we will certainly be exceeding that today as we begin our track guide around this high-speed, high-adrenaline road course. As we head up the main straight underneath the walkway, you'll notice the pit area to our left as we head down here to turn 1, also known as Hell's Corner. Very important corner to get a good apex here and get a good fast launch off the exit. This takes you to Mountain Straight, the first fast part of this course and the first opportunity for overtaking here at Bathurst. A lot of draft on this straightaway as drivers will be climbing the hill, coming over this crest to head into Griffin's Bend. Turn 2. Down through the gears, into third, roll the center, back to throttle, get that nice fast exit. Need to get every bit of momentum you can coming up through the hill here into turn 3. And this is where it all begins. The cutting, turn 4. Fast exit, up through the gears, over the crest there. Got to be careful with your shifts. Out of 5, up into turn 6. Fast right-hander, turn 7, fast left-hander. Down into turn 8, that was Frog Hollow. Out of turn 9, that car drift out wide, up over the crest, another blind entry into turn 10. Very fast exit out of 10, up into Skyline, my favorite portion of the course. Turn 11 to the right, right back to the left for 12, and hard on the brakes into 13 to the right. Down into the Dipper, turn 14, out of turn 15. back to the left for turn 16, and then another blind entry of turn 17 and down into Forest Elbow, turn 18. Very critical to get a good exit here as this takes you out onto Conrad Straight. As we exit turn 19, drivers will have a lot of opportunity here with the draft and the high speeds to overtake. This is the actual, or one of the actual fastest straightaways in touring car racing on the globe. Bringing us down into turn 21 here, drivers will race through this section called the Chase, down through the gears into turn 21. Third gear, roll center, back to throttle, up into turn 22 to the right. Down into my favorite corner, the final corner on the track, turn 23. See a lot of racing on the brakes through that section there as this brings you out to the final straightaway, the finish line here at Bathurst. We appreciate you being with us today. That's your thrill ride for Mount Panorama.
All right, well, thank you very much, Kevin Ford. And you know, Larry, for the second race outing in a row, he's broken out that big block MX-5, and it certainly growls under throttle here at Bathurst. You can hear the thing reverberating off the walls as he makes his way down through Skyline there. And you know, he turned a lap. I was checking. He turned a lap somewhere in the lines of, I don't know, about 2:15, 2:20. Our drivers here in the Classic Sprint Series and practice week this week have been running somewhere in the 2:31. Actually, the fastest times were in the 2:31, 2:32 range. And so we're actually making qualifying a little bit longer here this week. And I believe we're going to be giving the drivers in upwards of about 18 minutes versus the normal 15 minutes to set their 4 hot laps in order to set the grid for our first race. And actually, that's a big difference. When we were at Laguna Seca a few weeks ago, Larry, we had the single 60-minute race to the checker. Tonight, we're going to have 2 30-minute sprint races. And where you finish that first race is going to be pretty critical to set you up for race number 2.
Yeah, it will be. I think this place, the struggle here with moving through the field is survival of the pack, because middle of the pack, that row 3, row 4, row 5 on the restarts of these kind of races, as they climb the hill, as we're doing right now on board, I think with Jordy Fike, it becomes a struggle to survive and get through it and hit the dip the first time as a pack. There's a lot of accidents that happen, and so you do want to make sure that you don't start the second race in that 10th to 12th. You'd like to start that second race, you know, in that top 3-4 rows, and that 7th, you know, really at that transfer spot, because it is a struggle the further down you go, and you're really going to hurt yourself if you get a poor showing in the first race to try and do it in the second race. I think it's the biggest challenge here, because this place, once you get through the top of the mountain and back down, as you mentioned, those 2 long straightaways, the Conrad and the Mountain Straight, are extremely long, plenty of opportunity to pass. But you got to get there. You got to finish the first lap to have a shot to hit those 2 straightaways. I
was gonna say you got to actually make that downhill run and get through Forest Elbow before you get onto that long back straight. And yeah, I mean, one of the classic overtaking turn, the very last corner here, as Kevin mentioned during his track guide, Murray's Corner, a 90-degree. You know, hard on the brakes, just stomping on the brakes, left-hand turn that brings you onto the front straight. And as we sit on board right now with Robert Hartley, driver of the number 3 Orion Racing Machine, we're going to see him now as he makes that run. He came out of the chase already, and now he's just going to have to stomp on those brakes, get into it hard, left-hand turn, maybe a little bit faster in here than the final corner that we saw 2 weeks ago at Laguna Seca. But, you know, same general strategy there going in. You know, try and outbrake the guy, try and come underneath him, and carry the speed through onto the what is a very short front straight here.
Yeah, so it looks like a bit of a spin there.
And that is why qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, 18 minutes tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit of a slide there, trying to carry a little bit too much speed, didn't quite have it. But getting into the strategy of tonight, as we saw in our last round, that great battle at Laguna Seca there on the Indian Burial Grounds between Lavender and ultimately your winner on that one, John Allen, really played out and came down to the end where Allen was kind of holding on to it, but able to hold the position in those last number of laps. I think tonight that's going to be a tougher strategy because of these long straightaways, going to give up a little bit more of a chess match and trying to make sure you make the last pass. but I think it's going to be fascinating watching these guys try and work our way through a pack, especially as we do the inverted second race, to make their way through the pack and try to win both of these races if they can. But it's going to be important, I think, for some of these guys like Hartley, like Dam, to probably try and get to the top step in one of these races tonight that we're not able to maybe get those top couple of points in the opening round.
All right, and so I know in taking a look at the broadcast here, we're having a little bit of trouble with our timing tower on the left-hand side there and being able to discern between the two different classes that we have running tonight. We've got our Pro class and we've got our AM class running. And the way you'll be able to tell the difference between them, at least when they're on track, and we'll do our best here to be able to give you the rundown in each category, each class. But if you take a look at the cars that have the black mirrors with the black windshield banner, and just like we're looking at Caleb Lavender right now, who Larry talked about a few moments ago, he's got the black mirrors, he's got the black number board with the white numbers. That is your prototypical Pro Series driver. Now, if we take a look at, for example, Dean, let's take a look here at the number 19 car. That's Dean Dibdahl, who was our winner 2 weeks ago at Laguna Seca in the AM category. He's got the red mirrors, he's got the red number board, and again, all of our AM category drivers will be outfitted as such. So, Larry, why don't we quickly here, as we have a little bit of time, we're only now about 8 minutes into this extended qualifying session. I think you started out with a quick rundown of what we saw in the Pro category 2 weeks ago. And as you mentioned, John Allen took the win in the Pro category with Mike Dam from Orion Racing finishing in second. And as it stands right now, Mike Dam is your second fastest driver on track here in qualifying. And then we had Mike Dam's teammate, Robert Hartley, finish third. And just off the podium, Caleb Lavender, who's our provisional pole sitter at the moment in the 333 D2D E-Racing machine. He was fourth fastest. And then Josh Soto, who's moved up from the AM category to the Pro category this year. He finished in fifth. And so if we take a look at the points, well, it's going to be pretty much just like that with one small exception. If we go and take a look, we will see that Brennan Horn, who actually finished sixth in the 60-minute race at Laguna Seca last round, is currently sitting fifth in the points, and that is because he picked up an extra bonus point because he did 15 or more laps in practice prior to the event, which you can pick up bonus points for. So Josh Soto currently sitting sixth in the Pro category. Now, if we take a look at our AM category, taking the win was Dean Dibdahl, driver of that number 19 ZP Motorsports machine. Eugene Weber, in his very first outing with the Classic Sprint Series, finished second in the Weber Racing entry. That was the number 54 car. Greg Brockway in his Team Esport Racer entry, the number 62 car, finished third. And then just off the podium, Edgar Sancinelli and Russ Ruddick. And my understanding is, and as I look through the order here, I see Mr. Sancinelli, I believe he's under the weather, and likely will not see him take the grid tonight. And so pretty much, as opposed to the Pro category, that finishing order is how things stand in the AM after one round. Dibdahl, Weber, Brockway, Sancinelli, Ruddick. And then just 2 points out of the top five right now. Two drivers, Mike Taylor, who's Sancinelli's teammate from Frito Sport Racing, and then we've also got Carson Catlin in the CCC Racing entry. They are tied right now for sixth.
Yeah, so that's what makes sense. So tonight's race, we've kind of alluded to a little bit, is the double sprint format. A little bit different than we had seen, I think, in our last one. Last round, I think we were a solid 60 minutes with a pit stop. Tonight, we're going to be two 30-minute sprints. No pit stop required, but that does mean there's going to be a transfer spot, meaning an inversion will occur. And tonight, it's a little different. If you were with us last season, we would invert in these kind of formats. The top 10 tonight, only 7. So being Iowa 7th is very important tonight to try and be on the top front row on the second race. And also, it actually is good for our winner of the first race. Instead of starting in 10th, now you'll only be starting in 7th. So I think it's going to be a little bit different, a little bit interesting, especially for those winners, maybe a better shot to make their way through the field. But it's also less opportunity for those 8th, 9th, and 10th place guys. They got to work a little bit harder if they want to get the transfer spot tonight.
All right, so let's take a look and see where we are in qualifying right now, Larry. We'll break it down by class or category here. Currently, your provisional pole sitter, now no longer Caleb Lavender. It is, and you see him right there in that number 101 machine, our winner from round one, John Allen, representing Defined Auto Works. Robert Hartley now jumps up to second fastest with a time of a 2:31.92.
Not going to go faster in this lap.
Nope.
Not with that 1X.
Not after that time through Hell's Corner. Caleb Lavender, third fastest, with Mike Dam, fourth fastest, and then Brennan Horan, currently fifth fastest in the pro category. If we take a look at the AM category, Eugene Weber, driver of that number 54 machine, finished second 2 weeks ago. He is currently your fastest of the AM category drivers, and I'll tell you, there is a huge gap of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars that are in the pro category that separate our AM category provisional pole sitter Eugene Weber and Dean Dibdahl, who is currently the second fastest driver in the AM category. So if we finish qualifying right now, Dean Dibdahl would have a long way to go to get up to Eugene Weber. Dean Dibdahl currently with a fast time of a 2:32.81 versus Weber's 2:32.60. So only 2,100 separate.
Yeah, we're on board with Dean right now. And currently working on his fourth and final lap of qualifying, always the most critical here in this type of format. And getting that run off of that elbow to get back down here on this straight is so critical to your lap times around here. It's, you can lose a little bit of time at all those little kinks and dips across the top of the mountain. If you don't get that turn onto this straightaway right, your lap is gone.
That's right, Nate. Carry speed through this quick little kink here, and then you're going to have to just jump on the binders and then head back up the hill quick, off the throttle, back on. Yep, and there you go. What happens, you just run a little bit wide there, and it makes the whole rest of the complex there challenging, and then you don't get the run here down towards the final corner, towards Murray's Corner.
Yeah,
so
he'd love to be down there in those mid 32s along with Weber, but I think that little bit of a mistake there at 21, the chase kink there may have cost him just a little bit.
All right, let's see if he improves. He does not. He turned in a 2:33.9, almost a full second off of his previous best. Then third fastest, Matt Catilla, in the number 137 machine, Steve Daniel and Greg Brockway. And Larry, I was just taking a look to see if we have our guest in the green room as of yet. We're scheduled to speak with Jeff Jacobs. Hopefully he'll be able to join us before these drivers head out on track for tonight's race.
We'll see if he does. We know last week when we had a World Challenge race, he was also supposed to be our opening guest, and then decided that he had some practice to get in, and he went on, and I believe he ended up finishing and winning. Was it?
And winning, but Larry, maybe it's a harbinger of things to come. Jeff Jacobs, he is with us now. Let's bring him on in.
All right, we are joined by Jeff Jacobs. Jeff, tonight you decided to come talk to us before the race. We appreciate that.
Hey, absolutely.
So, how are you tonight, and are you ready for a little bit of a battle down under?
Oh, this should be an exciting one. The thing about this track is, it's a sim, but you still can't help but hold your breath as you're flying across, the top of the hill up there, and then, back down the hill. It's just such a visually exciting, track. And then when you look at the field of drivers we have in here and how close everybody is time-wise, it's just going to be amazing in terms of the competition around the track.
Have you had a chance to try and go side by side with anybody down through the Dipper in any of these practice sessions to kind of see what it's like?
Yeah, on Wednesday and Sunday, a few of us kind of got together, and you could really have some great side by side exchanges because the draft has such a big effect on this track, and I think in the closing laps, that's what we're going to want to watch for, right? Is who is playing the patience game to try to execute those last lap, last corner, passes to try to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's going to be a lot of chess match between some of the class leads tonight. Going to be very, very important to have the last chance to come off of that elbow just right and get that last pass for the win. But, we've seen lots of crazy things happen. This is one of those tracks where crazy things do happen for sure. But so tell me a little bit about, I guess, your preference of format. We had last time out the 60 minutes straight through with the pit stop. Tonight we got our double sprint. Which way do you kind of lean if you're given your choice?
I'm kind of enjoying these sprint format races. I think it's kind of cool because not only does it give somebody who maybe has a mistake or an incident, early in the first race, a second chance to kind of start fresh and compete in a new race. Your night isn't done, which could be especially important at this track. We'll see. But also, I like the flipping of the front of the grid and really challenging those drivers who may have finished, 1, 2, 3 in the first race. Can they do that while picking their way, through traffic? And I think that adds an exciting element to the second race.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm looking forward to that. We've seen it now with a little bit of it different this season, right? I think there's decisions to kind of reduce that flip. Instead of the top 10, we're only doing the top 7. How do you see that playing out in terms of, especially for the top 2 or 3 in the first race, only now being 6th and 7th? How does that change things in terms of the dynamics of the second race?
Well, ordinarily you might say, gee, they're going to be able to get back up to the front maybe a little bit sooner. But then you look at the depth of this field, and you've got top 10 drivers here who just can run amazing pace. So it still could be quite the challenge for anybody starting 6th and 7th if they think they're just going to leapfrog all the way back up to the front again.
Yeah, totally. This is probably one of the deepest fields I think we've seen in the classic sprints now in a couple of seasons. I think it's pretty exciting, and I think even in the AM class, it's not necessarily a given that it's going to be a runaway. We saw Dibdall have a great race last week, but you can see he's actually second in that group right now. I think it's going to be tough, I think, in both classes.
Absolutely. But it should be fun. This will be an exciting one. You guys enjoy the broadcast.
Absolutely looking forward to it. And you enjoy the drive. Hopefully you're not too worn out from all of your training sessions that you were presenting for earlier today. And hopefully you've got some energy stored up for tonight.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, there you go. Jeff Jacobs, driver of the number 38, streetsurvival.org, Mazda Miata. And we'll see. He is scheduled to start, I believe, to start 8th tonight in the pro category. So, Larry, we've got the drivers lining up here, and they've got a fairly short pace lap. So why don't we run down the starting grid?
All right, so on the pole tonight in the Defined Auto Works car, it's going to be John Allen. He'll be alongside his main rival tonight is going to be Mike Dam from Orion Racing. Row 2, Caleb Lavender from Florida. On outside of row 2, Robert Hartley from Orion Racing. On row 3, Brennan Horn from Esports Racer. He'll be alongside Orion Racing's Travis Schwenke. Row 4, Josh Soto in the Soto Racing operations, lined up alongside another Esports Racer, Jordy Fike. Row 5, Eugene Weber should be the first of our AM drivers in the Weber Racing car. He'll be alongside, we just talked to him, streetsurvival.org's Jeff Jacobs. Row 6, David Payton, D2DE Racing. He'll be alongside Clint Vigas from Meh Motorsports. On row 7, Chris Thorman on the inside, D2DE Racing, lined up alongside round 1's winner in the AM class, Dean Dibdall. On row 8, on the inside is Greg Mack from Esports Racer, alongside Matt Catilla, Crossthread Engineering. Row 9, Steve Daniel, SKKJ Racing, lined up another Esports Racer alongside of him, Greg Brockway. Row 10, Russ Ruddick, Ryan Tortoise Motorsport, alongside Mike Taylor from Frito Sport. Now, row 11, Nick Parsono from NAP Motorsports alongside Carson Ketlin from Triple C Racing. And row 12, John Casey 046 Racing alongside Jeff Cranston from Craney Customs Racing. And then finally we got row 13, Mike Key of Rito Sport Racing. He'll be lined up alongside Robert Brist, RFC Racing. And then last but not least, Patrick Preventis, Frito Sport Racing driver on row 14.
All right, there you go. There is our starting grid for tonight. And you can see here as they're lining up just before that kink, the chase down the main straight here. So going to be a very short pace lap. Now, Larry, I guess we should let our our viewers know that big change for this year are the start procedures. In that the start is not going to be necessarily automatically generated by iRacing. We have a steward, a starter.
It's the steward's call.
Who's gonna give the start. And what they're going to be doing here is they're likely going to be waiting as long as possible, try to get as many drivers onto the front straight as possible. So don't be surprised if you see those lights flash, but nobody's really moving yet here. But it should be a great start, and we'll let you know when that green flag comes out as the pace car now onto the pit lane. John Allen has the field. Mike Dam lined up right beside him. Those two drivers finished first and second at Laguna Seca 2 weeks ago, and they are now coming around the final corner, around Murray's corner, onto the front straight as we wait for the green flag. Group is very well gridded up. And there we go, green flag. And racing is underway here from Bathurst. 30-minute sprint to the checkered flag, and then we'll invert the field and do it all over again. John Allen leads the field down into the very first corner, hell corner. Goes right over that curbing, opens up a great little gap there. He then has right behind him Mike Dam still with Caleb Lavender running in third. Right behind him, Robert Hartley, Brennan Horn, who moves up, gets around Travis Schwenke. He's running in fourth now. Then we've got Travis Schwenke running in fifth, Josh Soto, Jordy Fike, and Eugene Weber trying to hold off Dean Dibdahl. Dibdahl's already picked up one position, but he's got 3 more to go to get up to our AM category leader as John Allen starts the run up the hill, heading through Griffin's Bend. And you're going to see here as things start to get a little tight as we have those walls, those concrete walls to the left and to the right. We're going to want to see how these drivers do on cold tires, Larry.
Yes, and then, as you mentioned, this starts to get tightening up all the way as they continue to climb the hill. It seems every time you turn the wheel, it's like they take away another 2 feet of width.
Yes.
As you come around Griffin's Bend, it's got a couple of feet of runoff. You get to the cutting, that left-hander, it's nearly gone by the time you come up to this point. There is almost nothing left when it comes to margin of error and room to float, and you can see these cars essentially flat-footed around here. The only caveat to that is if you're in the draft, you better lift just a little bit or you're going to be up under somebody's bumper by the time you get to the top of the hill here across the skyline and down for the first time into the dipper. John Allen leads the way.
Here we go. As they go, there you go. There's the dipper. You see that quick little drop there as John Allen leads the field down. They're going to make their way through the rest of the S's, and then a little bit on the brakes. Hard left-hand turn. Critical that you get a good exit through here. It's actually off camera on exit. You always have to watch out for that last wall on driver's right, and then they make that huge, huge run, and it looks like we've already got one driver who had an issue with it. That was Carson Catlin. Yeah. In the 76 machine, he is on the pit lane. He may not rejoin until the rest of the field completes lap number 1 as John Allen leads him underneath that Fuso bridge. And they're going to be coming up now on the quick left-hand kink, otherwise known as the chase. And then hard on the brakes. You remember in qualifying, we saw Dean Dibdahl get into this corner a little bit late, but John Allen, as well as Mike Dam, do very, very well there. And now they're going to make the run down to the very last corner on track, Murray's corner. 23 corners here at Bathurst, and finishing lap number 1 is John Allen.
Yeah, you just watch this pack so tight. You know, there was maybe a car length or two of separation as they came off of the Forest Elbow that first time, which leads them down the Conrad Straight. And then it just tightens up as the draft just pulls everyone together. But everyone really playing the discipline game right now. No one really stepping out yet. But I suspect if we watch the pack unravel here as we come down the mountain straight on lap 2, you're going to probably see some folks popping out. But the front of this pack staying very disciplined here on this first lap.
Yeah, and you can see even all the way into the back, we still got a few stragglers coming around turn number 1 on their second lap, but most of the pack here still very close, regardless of whether they're in the pro category or the AM category. Now, speaking of the AM category, Eugene Weber, he is still your leader in the AM category. There he is in the number 54 machine, that all-black number 54. He's got David Payton and Clint Vigas separating himself from Dean Dibdahl. Dibdahl in the number 19 car, our winner in the AM category 2 weeks ago at Laguna Seca. And Dean's already picked up 2 positions, and he's brought Matt Catila along with him. Catila, who started off in 6th in the AM, is now up into 3rd.
Yeah, and that's it's just watching that AM group, and it's sort of tough to follow here in the timing tower, but I'm sure we'll continue to walk you through that, let you know who's leading there. But Dibdahl definitely able to pick up a couple of spots, trying to maybe stay with Weber here earlier in this race and not get too far separated, doing a good job there. As I think we're on board now with Caleb Lavender, kind of watching Lavender as this top 5 or 6, really haven't separated much as they go back down the Forest Elbow onto the Conrad Straight again, but not seeing much separation between them. Everyone just sort of holding their line, but at some point here, someone's going to get the fantastic run off the elbow and need to pop out somewhere down this straightaway.
All right, and as they make the run down the Conrad Straight, or otherwise known as the main straight here, let's see if somebody peeks out before they even get to the chase. Yeah, and here we go. Chris Thorman trying to make a move on the number 2 of Greg Mack. Sets it up awfully early, and we'll see here as they come through. You know, this is still going to leave Mack to the inside when the track switches back over to the left, and you can see there, as long as Mack can get the turn done, runs a little wide, but for now, he manages to hold off Chris Thorman.
He does, and watching Peyton, number 64 there, a bit of struggle for him coming out of the chase. Could lose a couple spots. One of those is to Mack in that number 2.
Yeah, and he may lose to the 60th Thorman as well. He does, just in the last 2 corners, and there we go. See Peyton trying to make up a little ground there, but Peyton's lost 5 positions over the course of 3 turns.
Couldn't tell if he just came wide off of the chase, or perhaps it caught a slowdown for cutting it too sharply.
That's possible.
But either way, positions are gone, and that's going to be tough to reel back in. But watch this front 3 now as Lavender and Dam pushing up onto the heels of John Allen now here on the start of lap 3.
Yeah, and it looks like Travis Schwenke was hanging a little bit back there, but he's got back up into the game now in the number 3 machine. We got Schwenke as well. So again, nice little battle here for the moment. Our top 2 drivers separate out just a slight bit. You know, but again, with the long straights here, as long as you can stay close. Oh, we had a side-by-side battle a little bit further back. I believe that was Fike and Brennan Horan, the 2 teammates.
May have been. Horan's been struggling to keep at the front pack, trying to, but I think there's a bit of a gap now if he's not careful.
And actually, another
gap
little battle
now is
going
behind
on.
him.
Yeah, Jacobs and Greg Mack, they were sitting right back behind Matt Catilla. Coming up side by side, going up through Frog Hollow, or turn number 9, and that's given a little bit of breathing room to both Eugene Weber and Clint Vigas. Oh, and we have a driver that is off, hits the wall.
It's Jordy Fike.
That's Jordy Fike in the 09 machine. He's now going to drop, and you can see there a lot of damage to that car. I think he's just going to try and ease it back and hopefully get to the pit lane and get some repairs done.
Just trying to stay out of everybody's way, because that's the tough part of the track. Tough part of the bike to make it through without hitting the wall, and unfortunately he does. But also, once you do, you want to stay out of everybody's way and not cause one of those congestion pileups. As it looks like Mike Dam's going to pop out on John Allen, try to make the move, going through the kink here at the chase. He does make it by, makes a stick.
There you go, and that's the long run again, almost 1.2 miles long, broken up by the chase. Interestingly enough, the reason that the chase is there is back in the late 80s, the FIA determined that you could not have a straightaway on an FIA sanctioned course that was longer than 3/4 of a mile. And so right at about the 3/4 mark, there's the chase. And now the chase on the front straight. We've got John Allen falling another position back to Caleb Lavender, who comes underneath him going into turn number 1 to drop John Allen in that green 101 machine back to 3rd. And it looks like Robert Hartley's going to try and make a run at it as well in the number 3 car. We've got the 2 Orion teammates, Hartley and Schwenke, just surrounding John Allen's Defined Auto Works machine.
Schwenke not doing Hartley any favors here, but maybe giving a little bit of a reverse draft there to John Allen, trying to almost pushing him a little bit. Didn't quite make contact with the bumper, but maybe helping Allen maybe more than Hartley. Teammates would have thought. I would have thought Schwenke would be up behind Hartley, maybe giving him a little bit of bump.
Yeah, exactly. Instead, he's stuck right behind the 101 machine, as if he thought that perhaps that was the better choice.
But at the end there, he does get on by. Does Hartley pass Allen? But I think that's part of the ebb and flow of this kind of race. Allen realizing that you can't win every corner of the entire race. You only need to see the checker flag first when it comes to the 30 minutes. So we'll see how that plays out, as now Horan is able to, with all this jostling out in front of him, able to stay with this pack, and now he wants a piece of Schwenke and Allen in front of him.
There we go, and as they start to make their run down the hill here, and just now come through over by Skyline, and then they start to make their run down through the S's. Let's take a look here as they make the hard left, drop through the dipper to the left, back to the right again. Just absolutely amazing to watch how close they are to the walls here.
Evil slalom almost, the way you have to kind of chuck the car through each of the apexes, which are basically walls, as you lose all your grip. And if you don't turn in just right, the grip goes away and you're going to hit the outside wall. Just watch these guys do it in rhythm like that. That was just beautiful stuff to see.
Yeah, and it is just all about rhythm. You just kind of have to time it out in your head sometimes, Larry.
And it's plummeting downhill. It's like you've already passed the peak of the hill across the skyline, and then you've got to somehow turn in right, find the brakes. So you're going like top of fourth gear. You've got to turn in right, get back over to the left, use a little bit of brakes, then it's kink right, kink left, kink right. As you've dropped probably about, I don't know, 50 or 60 feet just through that section of track alone. It's amazing how these guys can do it in rhythm.
All right, well, there you go. You watch as Greg Mack gets around Jeff Jacobs going through the chase, and then we've got Chris Thorman. Yeah, we saw Thorman try it a lap ago on Greg Mack, couldn't get it done, and it looks like he's going to have to hold up behind the wide number 38 machine as they come now down into the final corner in the Murray's corner and come onto the front straight, completing lap number 4 for them.
Jeff did say he had to practice a lot of side-by-side. He's getting more of that practice right now as Thorman's on his left going down toward the hell corner here at turn 1.
And as they go through hell corner and Jacobs, he's going to run a little wide. That might give an opening to the 64 machine of David Payton as well. And then you've got the 96 of Steve Daniels, currently running 4th in the AM category, and he's now all bottled up with nowhere to go. You know, we run so many tracks, Larry, where you can go 3 wide in so many places, and you can see here pretty much the limit. It is too
this
wide
is not one
at
of
best.
those tracks.
No.
This is not the Spa, the Camel Straight where you can run 3 and 4 wide. This place is, even in the straightaways, it's tough to get more than 2 because it's a 2-lane road is what this is. The rest of the year, when they're not doing the Bathurst 24-hour race, it is just a park. And there's a couple of houses along it that you can actually see here in the scan at the sim. But these are essentially public roads that they turn into a racetrack for a weekend a year.
Now there was a great little move there. We just picked up the shot going through turn 4, the cutting, as we saw Clint Vigas get around Eugene Weber. Vigas now running 7th in the pro category and probably 8th in the pro category. He's made up 4 positions since the start of the race, but more importantly, he got around Eugene Weber, who's our leader in the AM, and in doing so, he now puts Dean Dibdahl right on the back bumper of that black number 54 machine. The 3rd and 4th cars in that line that we're following right now, that is the battle for the lead in AM. And so Dean Dibdahl, he's made up 4 positions through the course of 5 laps to get up to the battle for the lead.
Yeah, he's done himself a lot of good here to get into this battle for class position. And now he's got him right where he wants. He's got Weber right where he wants him to be able to get a draft on him. Maybe not this lap, but don't be surprised as they come off of turn 1. If maybe by the time they get down to Griffin's
and there's
Bend.
some contact between the 07 of Josh Soto and the 71 of Clint Vigas just as they come through the chase. And there you
Soto
go, the
runs
07.
a little wide on the exit of that.
Yeah, we'll see if he gets a slowdown. But now that causes a lot of trouble for Eugene Weber, who's trying to hold off Dean Dibdahl, and he had just nowhere to go.
The veteran
Dibdahl between the two.
Yeah, the veteran Dibdahl showing some patience there. I say veteran because we know how young he is.
Yeah, he's
but
like
showing
14.
actually very good patience there to wait for it and to not dive in. Now his opportunity with Weber getting a poor run off of 23, he's going to be on the inside here at 1.
And Weber does a good job of recovering there, going through the first corner, going through hell corner. He got a horrible exit. Missed the apex by quite a bit. Maybe he thought Dibdahl was going to try and get underneath him in turn 23 and just lost a ton of momentum. But Dibdahl just couldn't do anything about it on that short front straight.
So, I mentioned about how young Dibdahl is, and but he does show the skills of a veteran there. But he is still a kid, apparently texting while driving. Just typed a message that says, Eugene, you're blinking bad. In iRacing world, it means his connection's off a bit and the cars start to blink. So yes, while Dean's in the middle of this battle with his direct rival there in class, he's texting messages to his rival. So clearly a teenager.
Once you get older, you flash the headlights. When you're
exactly.
When you're 13 or 14, you send text messages. That is great. Oh my gosh, here as we're on board right now with Robert Hartley, currently sitting 3rd overall, and you can see our former leader, our pole sitter, John Allen, sitting not a distant, but a little bit back in 4th place as Mike Dam, Caleb Lavender lead he and Hartley now back down the hill as we make that run once. Oh, and contact. That was the 333 of Caleb Lavender impacting the wall, and you can see now he's tossed offline considerably, Larry, as they go down into the elbow. But he manages to hold off Hartley for the moment here. We'll have to see how much damage that does. Looks like he's lost a mirror but that probably isn't going to affect them all that much.
Not a lot, as long as there's not much other damage to the body. This place definitely has been known to kill a few mirrors. The key, though, is that for Mike Dam, that cleared a whole 1 second gap for him, and he's hoping to hold that as long as he can, but the guys behind him are being smart and using the draft, and now they're going to do a little bit of leapfrog game here to give Hartley now the run to ensure that Mike Dam doesn't get any further ahead than what we saw here, and just like that, it'll be back down under a second here, by the time they get back start-finish. But for Lavender there, probably a bit of a scary moment to kind of not only to rub the wall, lose the mirror, but also find yourself in the position of going down the hill alongside one of your rivals. Not really where you want to be. You'd rather be single file down that line.
Yeah, so that's going to move the Orion Racing entry of Robert Hartley up to second. So we've got the two Orion cars running first and second now as we jump back over to this great battle between Josh Soto and Clint Vigas. And then right behind them, the battle for the lead in the AM category with Weber and Dibdahl as Weber continues to hold off the number 19 machine. But this is turning into a spectacular little battle here. I was thinking a couple of laps ago on how how perhaps Brennan Horan had left Josh Soto, not for dead, but, left him quite a bit behind. But Soto's got his hands full.
He's got more than that. They're going to be going side by side. And we'll see if either of these two decide to back out of this. I'm not sure they will. Although Soto looks like he's trailing just a bit, but nobody's backing down. They're going to go side by side through Griffins, and that's going to cost time for Vigas, who slides back now behind that battle between Weber and Dibdahl, now fourth in this line.
Yeah, and so as we saw Vigas there have to run wide and give up the inside position to Josh Soto, as you mentioned, he now drops back 2 cars back behind Soto. That is going to put him 10th overall, 8th in the pro category. But I'd be a little worried if I was Dean Dibdahl, knowing that Vigas wants to probably get back up into that fight. That could really affect that battle for the AM lead.
Sure, and Dibdahl, you're right, is the one who's probably most victim right now. Is kind of ahead of Vigas. Vigas is going to be aggressive to get by him. He does not want to lose sight of Soto, knowing Soto could start the second race on pole if he finished as we sat right now, and he would definitely lose sight of him right there if he's certainly going to be in a position or points battle as the season goes on. So right there, as you can see, Vigas wants to get around those two in front of him with the red mirrors so he can get back at that 7th spot in Soto. But Soto's driving it very well tonight, holding his position strong.
A little tap of the wall there for Vigas. I guess look at it this way also, Larry. If Weber can get around Josh Soto and move up to 7th, that would put a heck of a gap in race number 2 between he and Dibdahl. That could conceivably move Weber up onto the pole for race number 2 and have Dibdahl having to start 8th.
Yeah, that would. We'll see if he's able to, because Soto right now looks pretty strong in this race. Weber, though, we know has moved up a couple of spots, started down, I think, in 9th or so, now sitting in 8th. So he's definitely got the pace to get there, but being chased by Dibdahl, he may be a little bit cautious to want to go make any risky moves for fear that Dibdahl gets both of them, and then Dibdahl gets the transfer spot. So you start thinking about those scenarios in your head right now, knowing you've got, let's say about 4 laps or so to go here. You start thinking of these scenarios of, if I make a move, what's the risk reward? Can I gain the position cleanly, or is it a risky move? And now I've got, going to give up 2 positions, and one of those being to my rival, who's going to get that 7 position gain come race 2.
All right, so as you just saw the number 78 machine, John Casey, involved in an incident. He's been maybe not awarded, but he has been given a drive-through penalty. And then we have another incident that is currently under investigation, including, I believe, the number 38 machine of Jeff Jacobs. And I didn't see the other car. Let's take a look at Matt Cotillo. Let's take a look. I think we've got the replay coming up here, Larry. You take a look at the right-hand side of the screen, and you can see.
Oh, yeah. Jacobs just came up hot there. I don't know if Jacobs is expecting a little bit faster speed to there, but Jeff, definitely the trailing car there. I got to say, I expect the stewards to come down on that one, on Jacobs there. Unfortunately,
look pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
All
very
right,
uncharacteristic of Jacobs, though, I will say. He's very, usually he's aggressive in holding his lines, but you'll hardly ever see him make that kind of mistake, so... for him,
it looks like he just missed his braking marker there.
Yeah.
All right, as we make the run down the hill here, once again, and your leader Mike Dam now sitting at the front of the pack, as he has for, I think, the last 4 laps now, with his teammate Robert Hartley running point for him, running in second, Caleb Lavender, John Allen rounding out the top 4. And then, as you can see there, a little bit of a gap back to Travis Schwenke, the third of our Orion Racing drivers, with then Brennan Horan in the 45, not all that far back.
Yeah, what I would expect, and actually we're seeing it now, is Hartley trying to get by Dam. I was going to say, this is that point of the race where you start thinking about where should I and could I make my passes. This year is just Hartley on Dam because it's the natural move. He's got the run, their teammates, he's going to get on by. But for your pole sitter and early leader, John Allen, he's got to be thinking about, to win this race, you got to be up in the top 2 on that last lap. You really don't want to start the last lap in 4th, but that's where he is right now. How can you get past Lavender and or Dam and or Hartley to have a shot to win this first race of these 2 sprints?
And we're now 2/3 of the way through our first sprint race of the evening. Just a little bit under 10 minutes remaining. You might have heard there the stewards came down with the hammer on Jeff Jacobs, and he will have to serve a drive-through penalty as well. And there he is entering the pit lane for his to serve his penalty. I'm sure he's screaming, "It's a mistake," but
yeah. But he's probably thinking to himself, it was dumb to do, but his mistake, and he'll own that one. Unfortunately for Catilla, he's not going to recover. He's still down in 20th. But this battle is going to continue, as it looks like Weber, as you were talking earlier, may try to put some daylight between he and Dibdall, and it looks like he just might have done that with Soto.
We'll see.
He gets the run on him.
Yeah, let's see if Soto pushes him wide,
Not
going
able
through
to.
Griffins again. And, this is what he did to Vigas the previous lap. But looks like the 54 machine of Eugene Weber, he's going to manage to take over that spot from Josh Soto. That's going to move Weber now up to the transfer spot.
Did you see what just happened behind there?
That's
right. Vigas was able to get by Dibdall. So now for Weber, not only does he put 1 car between, there's 2 between he and his rival. And he's the one sitting in that transfer spot.
That's right.
So that couldn't have worked any better for Weber than if he would have tried.
No, certainly not. So if the race were to end right now, Weber would be your pole sitter for race number 2, where Dean Dibdall would start 10th.
Yeah, but Soto is thinking to himself, all right, Weber, you've had your fun. Give me my spot back.
That's right.
Because you can see already he's on his tail. But now that Vigas is saying, okay, finally, I get back at Soto. Now we both have to get by Weber is what they're thinking. This is fascinating. Watch these guys. Meanwhile, Dean, the young one you'd expect to be the aggressor, is really kind of playing the calculated one, sitting in the back, waiting for this to happen. We'll see if he starts to make moves. So he's in that 4th spot, and what was John Allen in the 4th, now up to 3rd in his battle. Both of these 2 guys need to start making moves here with about 8 minutes to go. Allen starting now, has picked up 1 spot, moved Hartley down. Now he's got... So he's trying to get that move on Lavender. Lavender protects, holds him behind him, but Allen wants to get by in this battle. And Dam runs wide.
Dam runs wide. Now remember, Larry, the last time we checked in with our leaders, Hartley was your leader. Allen was, and Dam was running 2nd. And now as we make the run down to Murray's, it is now Caleb Lavender's turn at the lead, with John Allen now running in 2nd. And you said a few moments ago, John Allen is, he must be thinking, if you're gonna battle for the win, you got to be in the top 2, and that's where he is right now. Right behind him is the cadre, all 3 Orion Racing drivers. We've got Hartley, then we've got Mike Dam, then Travis Schwenke, and then of course there is the wild card there, Brennan Horn, and the Team Esport Racer Machine, currently sitting back in 5th, as Allen now goes side by side with Caleb Lavender as they make the run up the mountain straight. Now Lavender, he's got the inside position going into Griffin's Bend, into that left-hand uphill corner. But let's see here.
He's got a nose on his tails, but all he's got. But I think just like we just saw with Soto trying to hold off Weber, the same thing's going to be here. Lavender's going to try to hold off Allen, not quite able to. Allen's got position now going into the cutting, but we do have a change of the lead here in the race with about 6.5 minutes to go here. That should be probably a 3rd lap. We'll see how it is when they come across timing and scoring again, but things are moving fast here at the front 4 and 5. In fact, all this front 4 moving around has allowed Horan and Schwenke now to join the party. We've got a 6-way battle for the lead.
That's right. So, it's John Allen's race to lose at this point, but he's going to have to get very defensive for, as you said, probably another 3 laps or so, going down that long Conrad straight. But, as as we saw Lavender drop back into second place, or as we saw actually John Allen get around Caleb Lavender, you saw both Hartley and Dam get bottled up a little bit behind Caleb Lavender, and it looks like Dam definitely pushing the pace a little bit, maybe a little bit more aggressive than Robert Hartley is, as they started to make that run up the hill. And I think Dam was expecting Hartley to maybe attack Lavender a little bit more, and he just didn't do it.
Well, I'm just watching this right now. We were sitting there on the bumper cam of John Allen as they came down through the dip, and Lavender behind him got a tremendous run through that section, but Allen was going so much slower. Lavender had to back off. Yeah. Allen ended up getting a great run out of the elbow to hold the lead, as you can see, down the Conrad Straight. I don't know if it was by design, but it certainly worked out well for John Allen. I wonder if he's thinking that might be something that works here in about 2 laps when we get to the end. Create gap coming down the mountain.
Yeah, exactly.
As we flash back to this battle here for 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. In fact, the second battle, you've got the top 6. Now you got the next 4. As this time through, it's Weber over Vigas, then Soto and Dibdal.
Yeah,
These guys keep moving.
Yeah, and I guess the question of the night is whether or not Dean Dibdal is going to hold station there, or whether he's going to start to push the matter. And you notice right back behind them, starting to make up ground on them, both Peyton and Thorman, who had really been battling it out since the start of the race. Yeah,
because they had that earlier battle with Greg Mack. Now they look like they put a couple seconds between he and Mack. You can see him at the back of the shot there. And maybe this is turning into a 6-way battle, just like the front of the field's 6-way battle, as it looks like Hartley now, we were just talking, and dropped back to, what was it, 4th? Now he's fighting for the lead as they're double wide.
Yeah, as he got around both, and
that's
Lavender.
Into the wall there. It looked like, yes, mirror dangling for Hartley.
Oh,
a big pile up with Hartley and Allen. Allen goes around.
And somehow the 16 machine of the 16 of Schwenke, I think, literally just drove through John Allen's machine and ended up still going. But right now, Caleb Lavender is all by himself. He has now opened up almost I believe about a 2-second advantage now over Travis Schwenke, who is running in second. Then we've got Mike Dam, then Brennan Horn. John Allen somehow still has that car rolling. He is now down in 5th.
I tell you, my computer thought Allen's car was wedged up into a tin can. It had 3 wheels on it for a minute, but it looks like he's good now. As that is Hartley now.
That's the 3 machine.
The top. Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, he's just trying to keep that car together. And let's take a look at the replay here, Larry.
You can see as they come up side by side, and on the outside, that is Hartley.
Yeah, and John Allen, as John Allen was on the inside there, the car looks like it just drifted out on him. I don't know if he. I'm not going to.
I wonder if he thought he was fully clear. Sometimes in those situations, you'll get an early spotter call saying your car in right, but you would have thought at that point, perhaps if you're Allen, that you were clear to that side. He had about an 80% ahead.
Yeah,
quite a full car ahead. Stewards are looking at it. I don't know who they're going to put this one on, if anybody. That's tough side-by-side racing, if you ask me. But unfortunate that 2 of our leaders are out of this. And there's contact there between Vargas and the 54 of Weber. He's down now, is Weber.
Weber is in the grass, and he's just now getting back underway, but that is now going to move Dean Dibdal up into the lead in the AM category as they make the run now down under braking in the Murray's corner. And as they come around, still side by side, Josh Soto and Clint Vigas. But we're going to have to see what the stewards think about that, as the white flag is in the air for all of our racers. But for the moment, Josh Soto has now moved up to 6th overall, with Vigas right behind him. And
Peyton
Dean
is
Dibdal
up alongside Dibdal there. You see the 64 alongside him. Remember, 2 of these guys, because of the issues with Hartley, 2 of this pack now is going to transfer up onto probably the front row for race number 2. So you need to be in the top 2 to get that transfer spot. Right now, that belongs to Vigas and Dibdal, but it looks like perhaps it's going to be Vigas and maybe Soto.
Soto, exactly. Dibdal currently sitting back in 8th. it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for him, as he's got, I believe, his next closest competitor in the M category is Steve Daniels, running 12th. So he'll still have a bit of an advantage on the start for race number 2, but certainly Dibdahl, I'm sure, would like to make up that one position if he can get up and get around Soto on this last lap.
The incident is being looked at between Vargas and Weber, and should the stewards feel that it's Vargas's responsibility, that could incur a penalty here at the end of this race, which could have an impact on this battle here.
That's right.
Certainly an impact on who starts on the front row in the race number 2.
Yeah, that would then that would elevate Soto to 6th, Dibdahl to 7th, theoretically here. But we'll have to keep watching again.
Assuming they don't catch John Allen,
who's
not exactly at full song up there in front of him.
All right, so let's jump back to our battle for the lead, and that 2-second advantage that Lavender had.
Yet.
Yeah, that he had is not 2 seconds anymore. It's down to about 0.6. A long way back for the two Orion teammates, Schwenke and Dam, to make up as they battle now with Caleb Lavender.
He's trying. He's
pushing.
There. I don't know if he's going to get there or not.
And he opens it, and you can see how defensive Lavender was taking the chase from all the way driver's right. And now,
there's contact with Lavender now from Dam.
And Dam and Lavender are off the track. That moves Travis Schwenke in the 16 machine up into the lead. And he's going to come down the Murray's corner with Brennan Horan now.
These two guys were 5th and 6th, about 4 seconds back in the top 4. They're going to come home in your top 2 spots.
And coming
this
across,
is crazy.
I don't want to say it yet, Larry, because they got about 50 more feet. But now crossing the stripe, taking the win. Orion Racing's Travis Schwenke, Brennan Horn. He's going to come home in 2nd. Caleb Lavender manages to recover after the long drive, the long drift through the grass. He'll come in 3rd. Then we've got John Allen. He makes his way all the way back up to 4th. Mike Dam finishes in 5th. Then Soto. Then Vigas, and we'll have to see if there is any kind of steward's decision on Clint Vigas. Dean Dibdahl comes home in 8th, just out of the transfer spot. Then we've got, and Dibdahl will take the win in the AM category. David Payton will come home in 8th in pro. Thorman 9th in pro. Greg Mack 10th in pro. Eugene Weber, after getting tossed off track with 1 lap to go, comes home 2nd in the AM category. Steve Daniel will finish 3rd in AM. Greg Brockway 4th. Russ Ruddick 5th. And finishing 6th in the AM category, having picked up 8 positions, Larry, Jeffrey Cranston. So,
wow.
Big,
and I don't know if we could
finish.
Catch a quick replay on this before we go to break on what was happening there as they came up into the chase between that front pack there at the very end, because we were watching Schwenke to see if he was going to make the move on the inside of Lavender. And I think what may have been happening is at the same time, his teammate, Dam, was on the outside and may have had contact there with Lavender, causing him to spin.
Yeah,
so
let's see. Hopefully,
the stewards are looking at it.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look, Larry. I think we've got the replay coming up now. Thanks, Dennis, for queuing that up. Got the replay on the right-hand side. Let's take a look as they go down into the chase. We saw Lavender stick the car all the way to the inside. And there you go.
That's what it was.
There it was, the tap there from, I guess that was from the 3 car, I guess, that got him.
It should be Dam, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was either Dam or Hartley, I forgot, but the Schwenke comes home in the lead, and both Schwenke and Brennan Horan just found nothing but clean air in front of them, and with 1 corner to go, come across the line 1st and 2nd. And it looks like, Larry, from the looks of it, Clint Vigas did get a penalty assigned, but we'll cover that as we get ready for race number 2. But in the meantime, let's take a quick break, thank some of our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll have sprint race number 2 here from Mount Panorama here at Bathurst.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
All right, welcome back to Mount Panorama for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics. And Larry,
yeah,
I'm breathless. Let's take a look at the results from our heat number 1 race. Travis Schwenke.
So far, we'll put it this way.
Yeah.
I think the stewards are still reviewing, but we do believe that Travis Schwenke was able to survive in advance, as they say, and take home that win.
And I still think, Larry, that he drove literally right through the 101 machine 2 laps prior. But
and then to survive the chase corner on the last lap to actually take that victory. So for Travis, a hard-fought win there. And Brennan Horn from Esports Racer there coming in second. Right there, those two are fighting for 5th and 6th. All of a sudden, they find themselves 1st and 2nd at the checkered flag.
There you go. So Brennan Horn, who was our champion in the AM category in season 19. Great finish for him, coming in 2nd in race number 1. Now, that also means that he's going to be starting a little bit further back in the pack for this second race, but still great finish for him. As you can see there, Lavender now for the moment credited with 3rd position in the number 333 D2D e-racing machine. Of course, that incident on the very last lap, I don't think anybody would accuse him of having caused that there, but a great recovery as he was just sliding through the grass trying to get that car back out on track. John Allen finishes 4th. He was our pole sitter, and Mike Dam finishing 5th. And we're showing right now Soto and Vigas 6th and 7th. And, of course, we're going to have to see. Of course, we had Vigas get into the back of Eugene Weber with a lap to go.
So there's 2 incidents I think we're waiting on the stewards to rule on. The first is going to be the 71 to Clint Vigas and his incident there with Weber. But also, is there going to be a penalty? They are reviewing the Mike Dam, Caleb Lavender incident to see. And I just got a steward to poke me. And yes, they are going to do a 30-second post-race penalty for both of the 71 car. That would be Clint Vigas. And we'll have to wait and see who the other car that they are going to penalize is.
And I guess it wouldn't be the 3 car, because we know the 3 car was having that was Hartley.
I think he meant the 93, which would be Mike Dan, but I'm going to double check on that.
Well, because we know Hartley was earlier on, he was the one that John Allen had gotten together with the previous lap and had rolled down onto the cutoff road on the second to last lap. But, of course, if you like what you see and you like the action here from the Classic Sprint Series.
And how could you not like this action?
Exactly. Please go ahead and click that and actually smash that thumbs up button as hard as you can. Don't break the computer or your mobile phone or however you're watching us here tonight. But give us that thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe to Apex Racing TV's YouTube channel and click on that notification bell so you can find out about all the great motorsports action when we go live here on Apex Racing TV.
So the stewards did just tell me what they're doing is they are assessing a time penalty to at least 2 drivers, one of them being Vigas, but they are not changing the race order for race number 2.
Oh, so that really changes things up a little bit in the AM category, but that's also going to put Clint Vigas on the pole, which we did not expect, and it's going to put those 2 protagonists, Vigas and Soto, side by side on the front row for race number 2. Then we've got Mike Dam and John Allen, Orion Racing, and Define Auto Works starting on your second row. Starting in 5th position tonight, Caleb Lavender, number 333 D2D e-racing machine with Brennan Horan, starting in 6th.
Real quick, Mike Dam was the other car that was penalized.
Yeah.
So both Vigas and Dam, who are starting on the right side of the 2 front, actually it'll be on the left side of the 2 front rows, they are the 2 that have been assessed time penalties. So for points, they will reassess the finishing order for points, but for race number 2 starting, because it's done at a heat format in iRacing, they're going to leave it alone. But it does put Lavender now behind Mike Dam to start the race. So go ahead and finish the order. I just want to point that out.
All right, there we go. So Travis Schwenke, he's going to start 7th. Dean Dibdahl would start on the outside of row number 4. David Payton will start 9th. Chris Thorman 10th. Greg Mack and Eugene Weber will make up row number 6. Then we've got Steve Daniel and Greg Brockway, Russ Ruddick and Jeff Cranston, Nick Parsono, Mike Key, Robert Brist, and Matt Catilla round out the top 20. Then we've got John Casey and Carson Catlin, Jeff Jacobs and Robert Hartley in the 3 machine, starting all the way back there. That's got to be rough for him. Mike Taylor and Patrick Preventis starting 25th and 26th. Jordy Fike and Jordy Fike, who will make up the tail end of the field, starting all the way back in 27th position. As our pole sitter Clint Vigas, along with Josh Soto, come through the final corner onto the front straight, just waiting for the green flag to fly from the stewards. And there we go. Green flag is in the air. Vigas, Soto picking up where they left off. Things are getting all bottled up. Look at this, making a move down the inside. The number 64 machine of David Payton trying to make up spots before they even get to Hell Corner. But now in the lead, it is Vigas with Soto, but as opposed to race 1, still a lot of side-by-side action. We've got John Allen in the 101 machine. We've got Mike Dam in the 93. They're still side-by-side. And look at that, Caleb Lavender trying to pick which horse. Does he want the inside? Does he want the outside? Finally, he gets behind the number 93 machine as they make their way down the tail end of the mountain straight into Griffin's Bend and start to make their way up the hill. As you look back from there, we've got Lavender, Horan, Travis Schwenke, Dean Dibdahl finally decided to get back in line. He had designs on getting around Travis Schwenke going into Griffin's Bend. Couldn't get it done.
Oh, it's getting bumpy.
Yeah, already we're picking up just where we left off at the end of race number 1. For a moment there, it looked like John Allen was going to try and sneak underneath Josh Soto. Thought better of it as these drivers are now finally getting into line. That battle between Peyton and Thorman right where we left off. They are currently running 9th and 10th overall. And as they make the run up the hill and then start to roll down the hill, coming down through McPhillamy Park and into the Skyline, let's take a look now as they start to roll down the hill, Larry.
Yeah, after all of that, so Allen still ahead of Dam and Lavender there for those 3, but the Vigas-Soto battle, these guys battled that entire first race, and they were pretty quick through there. I don't expect them to exactly pull aside for Allen, Dam, and Lavender behind them. I think they want to stay in this battle till the end here at the front of this pack. We'll see how good they are coming off at the Forest Elbow. Do a pretty good job right there, I tell you, as it looks like behind them, Allen may have had a bit of struggle as he's now got Dam around him, as it looks like, Greg Mack into the wall.
That's Greg Mack in the 2 machine, went around.
Yes, he does, right at the elbow, right into the Falcon sign there on the right side, puts him over onto the left, and that's got some damage now on that car. As we flash back a little bit, there's Nick Parsono trying to make the move on Greg Brockway there as they're coming up into the chase.
And Brockway parked all the way to the inside, but he's going to give up position not only to Parsono, but to Matt Catilla as well, as the 137 machine gets by the 6062 machine. As we jump back to the battle for the lead, Josh Soto has gotten around Clint Vigas, and as they cross across the stripe to complete lap number 1. Well, don't want to say it yet. There we go.
Okay, so he did lead a lap, but they're side by side going into Hell Corner.
Yeah, so he will get some points, but as Vigas cuts right across the nose of Soto checks up, and he's going to lose ground. That's going to move now Mike Dam up into 2nd place, and Lavender's got to run as well. We'll have to see if Soto can hold off, and you could see there that Soto was just about ready to turn in, and he had Vigas right underneath him, and he checked up something mighty, Larry.
Yeah, he did, and that hurt Soto quite a bit. You can see they lost 3 positions because of that, to Dam, to Lavender, and to Allen, all of them down that mountain straight. And now it looks like they're going to start picking their way around Vigas, who's going to try and hold on here as he goes through the cutting in the lead of this. We've seen lots of crazy things around this section of the track. The guy that's loving this, I don't know how far he can make it up the order, is going to be Hartley. Remember, He had that big wreck with Allen at this part of the track here, about 2 laps to go in the last race. He started this race way down the order, already up to 17th, trying to pick his way through this traffic. He'd love to see the front of this group have all their troubles, and there he is right now on the heels of Cranston. But he'd love to see that front of this pack have troubles tonight, give himself a shot to get back in this and get some points.
It looks like he's doing all he can to push Cranston down the hill here as they're both losing a little bit of ground to Matt Catilla and Nick Parsono. As you mentioned, starting 24th tonight, Robert Hartley now has already made up 7 positions in just the span of a lap and a half as they run down the hill, down through Skyline, drop down through the Dipper, There we go. There's the dipper right there. Actually, now we're at the elbow. And, oh, look at that. Dean Dibdahl has...
Scare the walls.
Yeah, as David Payton just millimeters away from taking the rear end of that car out, but Dibdahl manages to hold off. Dibdahl, your winner in the AM category in race 1. He's got both Peyton and Thorman between he and Eugene Weber, and here we go.
This is going to be interesting. We'll see if Lavender can hit his breaking point with Mike Dam in front of him, but there's contact now with Vargas. Vargas can't slow down. He's able to get back on the track just in time to watch Dam and Lavender go side by side through the kink there at 21. This is unbelievable. These guys side by side pretty much anywhere they can at the front of this pack.
That was a great recovery by Clint Vigas.
Yeah.
Now as he goes in
and
side
more
by
contact.
side. And yep, more contact between he and Lavender. And Vigas gets the worst of it. Vigas now dropping all the way back to 5th. And he might lose another position there to Brennan Horan. Actually, no, Horan had already gotten around him as they came into the final corner. Look at this, coming up the inside is the 16 machine, a Schwenke.
Yeah, your race 1 winner now trying to get back up the order here. He's going to try and get in behind these two guys. He's going to go 3 wide down the main straight here. Oh my goodness.
This is not gonna end well, Larry, as they get up to Griffin's up to turn 2.
Hold your breath.
Well, maybe
John
you can
Allen
go 3 wide here. There's enough room to go 3 wide.
That was Allen through there. That wasn't even Schwenke. That was Allen taking the bold move to get around Vargas and Horan at the same time. He does not want to lose sight of Lavender and Dam out in front of him in addition to Soto. Allen, the aggressor there.
All right, as they make their way up the hill once again, and John Allen, he's already separated himself out now just a little bit from Horan, from Travis Schwenke. Yeah, and you know, again, when they were on the front straight, I thought Schwenke was the aggressor there. He had poked to the inside. He got around Clint Vigas, but I think Horan had just shut the door on him, and it really gave both Horan and also John Allen a bit of an opening here.
It definitely did. And Allen, though, now wants to just doesn't care what happens behind him if the train follows him through. He wants to gain this 1.5 seconds that he needs to catch back up to Soto. I think he could do it. I suspect he might be the quickest through the top of the mountain here, down through the dip, right through here. And I think he might be the quick one. Probably could close this gap significantly before they get back out onto the Conrad Straight.
Yeah, I mean, the previous lap, he was almost a 0.5 second faster than Josh Soto. So I think it's safe to assume that he should be able to catch up. Probably if he stays within, if he stays where he is now, probably even just on the long straightaway here, he should be able to make up enough ground.
John Allen's picked up about a 0.5 second on Soto since we were talking about it just climbing the mountain. Although now he's out of the draft, maybe he can sniff a bit of the draft here.
A little bit.
But I think you'll see how quick he is through this part of the track. As remember, he was our race 1 pole sitter, so he's got the best raw pace out here. I think he missed an apex. I prefer him.
Yeah, runs a little wide there. Gets a little late entry.
Mm-hmm. Getting a push though from Brennan Horn, and they get a little bit of help behind him.
There he goes. Horn gets on the brakes a little earlier.
That was a little bump draft. That was intended. These guys are working together. Your frenemies come into play.
Now let's take a look. Now that last time by, Josh Soto was your fastest driver on track, turned in a 2:31.6, only 0.03 faster, I might add, than
Lavender.
A whole lot
of grass on that pack right there. You can see. I saw Schwenke out there in the grass. I'm not sure who else. Might have been Soto too.
Well, and it looks like Mike Dam has gotten around Caleb Lavender now, so moved the 93 car up into the lead, and Josh Soto's sitting right behind him. So a little bit of a change there at the front. We'll see how Lavender does from second right now, and if he can work his way back around the 93 car. But I think John Allen started to make up a little ground there, although that last time by Allen, and again, I think he was held up a little bit during that lap, about 0.4 seconds slower than the front of the pack there.
Yeah. This is going to be probably about a 7-car pack again, because Allen is pulling that train behind him. As you can just see, everyone's kind of sitting in his draft. He doesn't care. He wants to do whatever he can. He's got it now down to 0.9 or so behind Soto, and that's enough to play with the draft. As we had a shot there of Hartley now up to 15th. Again, started in 24th. He's made up 9 spots. Right now, the quickest guy on the track might be John Allen.
John Allen, yeah.
Oh, just throwing that thing around. And look at this. That gap, gone.
Gone. I mean, just what he made up, going through Skyline and going down through the S's there. He made it all up, and you can see
you can
now
tell because the gap behind him is now 8/10 to Brennan Horn when Brennan was on his tail coming up the through the cutting, and just as they started to climb the hill.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's all just rhythm there, and John Allen. It just comes second nature as we jump a little further back, taking a look right now at Russ Ruddick, and there's Matt Katilla jumping to the inside, to the outside in the 137 machine, trying to get around Ruddick. He's got Hartley along with him, as well as Parsino a little bit further back in that black number 79 machine, as we now have Katilla going side by side with Ruddick down through the chase, and as they make that left-hander, and there you go, the 137 machine gets the pass done. But not only that, it looks like right back behind them, Robert Hartley in the number 3 machine, who's now made up 10 spots. He follows Katilla along and gets around Ruddick as well, as we jump back to that battle for the lead.
We've got movement up in the front. Remember, Soto was 3rd. Soto now down to 5th, as both Allen and Horan have gotten around him. But Horan then runs wide on turn 1.
You can see there goes all the way from driver's left to driver's right, and he is I don't know if he got a slow down there, but he lost a ton of momentum.
Yeah, certainly wanted to stay out everybody's way on that one.
But he jumps back in right behind Josh Soto, and he's got Schwenke and Vigas right behind him. So remember, Vigas, who started off on pole, now sitting 7th. Here as we are at the beginning of lap number 5. We're about 1/3 of the way through our second sprint race of the evening.
Maybe worth flashing back to where we are with our AM class, because I believe it should be Dibdahl. There he is, and the number 19.
And look at what's coming up behind.
Just about a second or so back.
Yeah, Eugene Weber, who started, I believe, 2 cars back behind Dibdahl. Dibdahl started off 9th overall, just a couple spots out of the transfer, with Weber starting in 11th, starting in 12th, and Weber is now up to 10th, and closing in on Dean Dibdahl. As it looks like Dean Dibdahl's charge has been blunted and stunted a little bit. He's got both Thorman, Vigas, Schwenke, and he's got a whole bunch of people in front of him.
Somebody's into the wall there.
And I think that was a little bit further back from 07. I think that might have been Vigas that got the wall in that orange and black and white.
Looking at the left side of his car, I'm pretty sure it was.
And there you go, coming out of the elbow right behind Vigas. Looks like Thorman got the wall as well. Got a little shake, rattle, and roll there before coming on the straight.
All that's going to help Weber, because it forces everyone else around those guys to slow down, which includes Dibdahl. Weber now about 1.3 back, hoping to get all the wind that he can to get close. But using the wind to his advantage right now, John Allen able to get around Lavender now. Allen up to 2nd, Lavender to 3rd as they try to chase down again. Mike Dam, your leader. And these 3 guys at it again, just like in race 1.
There we go. Running wide is the number 60 machine of Thorman. And again, we thought he took on a little bit of damage coming through the elbow, and he gives up a lot of ground there as he got it all wrong at the chase.
He's got his mirrors intact, so he hasn't destroyed the car completely against one of those famous concrete walls. Dibdahl, though, pulling a little bit offline here.
Yeah, not only does he pull offline, but he pulls into 2nd place in the AM category as Eugene Weber takes the lead in AM, gets around Dean Dibdahl. Move Weber now up into 8th position overall. Move Dibdahl back into 9th.
Yeah, I wonder if Dibdahl had a bit of a slowdown or something to kind of go offline and have to give up some of that position. But either way, the battle is on in the AM class here between Dibdahl and Weber, now trying to get their way around a limping Vargas, whose car does not appear to have the straightaway speed as all the ones around him. Look at Weber, though. Gets on by Vargas.
Yeah.
Like, Vargas is standing still, and he's just going to motor on by, leaving Dibdahl behind there a little bit, and he's going to try to put some daylight down.
Yeah, and so remember, Vigas and Weber, the 2 drivers that got together, or 2 of the drivers that got together in race number 1. They certainly weren't the only ones. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and here's a battle. This looks like the 95 of Russ Ruddick and Nick Parsino, the 79, with Jeff Jacobs in there, the yellow number 38. And I see a Jordy Fike in there in the back of this here, and the number 9. These 4 guys fighting for 15th, side by side as they climb the hill.
Remember, and Daniel right now running 4th in the AM category. Parsino running in 5th in AM, and they're all trying to make up some ground, get back up to Matt Catilla, who's got, for the moment, the last podium spot in the AM category as we take a look as they make that run down the hill. But let's jump back to our lead pack here. We're a little bit behind our lead pack. We've got Clint Vigas. Just ahead of him is Eugene Weber. And Dean Dibdahl trying to find any way he can to get around Vigas, who is now Dibdahl starting to see his battle for the win.
I think Dean's going to use this opportunity to draft the car that's got a little bit of body damage. And now he's got the inside for the chase. He wants to make sure he chases down Weber. Does not want to lose sight of him. And look at him already taking track position for the braking zone on the right side of the track. Does not want to lose any further ground. As 64 Peyton takes advantage of the same draft, he gets by Vigas as well. So 2 cars getting by Vigas here on this lap alone.
Yeah, and that was a great move there as we saw Dibdahl.
Change
you
for
can
the
see him
lead,
get the car rotated. There we go. Take a look at this. John Allen now gets around Mike Dam. So Allen, who's worked his way up from, he started in 4th position. He is now your leader. Mike Dam drops back into 2nd. Caleb Lavender sitting in 3rd. And then we've got Soto and Horan with Travis Schwenke not that far behind. So still, you know, Larry, we started off thinking it might be a 7-car fight. It's a 6-car fight, but still very closely packed here. And you take a look.
These two guys are trying to make sure it's a 2-car fight.
Yeah.
Notice that Dam didn't pop, didn't try to make a move. He's pushing. This looks like what the old next-gen NASCARs or whatever it was, where they were all having to pair up 2x2.
Yeah.
Same thing going on here as Dam pushing Allen. Didn't really do much good as Lavender on the heels of Mike Dam. But like you said, this is a tight pack. Top 6 now, 1.7 seconds apart. One of those, Travis Schwenke, our race 1 winner tonight, who is in this position pretty much at this point of that race, ended up going on to victory.
So, as we watch Dam and Allen try to work together to maybe separate themselves out from the rest of the field, I'm wondering how much do they have, and obviously they haven't been able to shake Caleb Lavender, who's right back in this. How much do they need to make up on that first half of the course? In order not to just lose it under the draft as they start to make their way down the back straight again here, that long mile plus back straight.
Yeah, it's they've got to really watch that. I'm just watching these battles now as we get the shot here of this second
Weber
pack.
Is getting so loose through here.
Yeah, as Dibdahl, who last season we were saying he always seemed to have a loose car, tonight looks very sound, very solid, very planted for Dibdahl. But like you said, Weber might be the one with a bit of a more of a loose car. And around the top of the mountain is not the part of the track that want a loose car. I'd rather a little bit of understeer through some of those than to have a car which is wagging the dog.
But Dibdahl last lap, he's made up a lot of that ground on Weber as they come down into the final turns. And here, John Allen, he's going to give up the lead to the number 93 machine under the draft as they go through the chase.
Soto trying to make the move on Lavender, can't make it stick. Lavender cutting them off though as they come out of it and head down toward the last corner.
And I'm wondering what the breaking point would be for Lavender if he gets, if he has any more contact, going into the last couple turns here. It's going to be like Dr. Heckle and Mr. Jive or something as they come onto the front straight. But, it hasn't been the easiest night for Caleb Lavender.
Let's just say Caleb Lavender, he's trying to be good spirit about it. Having that incident there on the last lap of the first race where he did get kind of rear-ended, as I'll use a term no one will know, or redlining, as somebody comes up behind him and uses him as his brakes. He's going to probably not try to return that favor, but the last thing he would want is have somebody do it to him again. So he's going to put himself in a position. Right now he's got that Soto pushing him along.
Yeah, both he and Soto managed to get by Mike Dam, so drop the 93 and Dam back in the 4th. And as they come through turn number 2 through Griffiths Bend, for a moment there, John Allen looked like he might be caught to the outside, that Lavender might be able to take the lead, but it is going to be Soto and Lavender side by side up through turn 4.
We've seen this before.
Yes, we have, as they go through Quarry Corner now, and Lavender manages to get the pass done. Finally gets around the 07 machine of Soto as they continue to run up the hill. Here, Mike Dam, he's going to fall. He was our leader just a lap ago. He now falls back into 4th position, and Brennan Horn not all that far behind in the number 45 machine as they start to make the run back down the hill. Now they're going to come around through McPhillamy Park, head down in the skyline, and here we go as we drop down and make the left. Then there you go through the dipper and all the way back to the right as we set up for the elbow. Quick little left here and then hard under the brakes to go into the elbow, and a little bit off camber here at the exit. You can see there's a lot of camber there at the apex.
And that onboard, it shows that camber, but it really shows how fast the plummeting downhill happens as you're trying to brake for that Forest elbow last left-hander. It is just so steep down that hill. And what you think are going to be good brakes never are. You have to brake so early on that corner, or you'll be on that Falcon sign on the outside wall before you know it. You've got a nice blue smear up the right side, or knocks your mirrors out of alignment. And it's really tough to get a fast run down the Conrad Straight. As the 64 of Peyton going wide, he's going to be on the inside of Hartley, though. Hartley runs wide.
I say he runs wide, and this is going on right back behind that battle for the lead in the AM category here. And Dibdall must be looking behind him going, please, 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 you guys keep fighting it out. Just give me and Weber a little bit of room here. And it looks like both Weber and Dibdall just in that last run down through the chase, maybe got a little bit of breathing room for a couple of corners, as we now have Robert Hartley, who's made up now 15 positions since the start of this race. He gets around David Payton, but it is such a battle here.
Not only is he made up 15 positions, he's currently 8 seconds back from the lead. At one point, he was 11. All this fighting up front with Soto, Lavender, Allen, and Dam has actually allowed Hartley to not lose ground to those leaders. Now, he still has to get around Dibdall, Weber, and then he's got a couple seconds there. But just think about that, how he's been able to clear the first 2 laps where he passed 15 people, and now he's actually in a position to make a couple more seconds up and get up into maybe a top 6 or 7 here. I'm impressed with what Hartley's doing. Shouldn't be that impressed. I think this guy's got an I rating of about 25,000 or something ridiculous. He's got a lot of experience on this platform, and that experience right now is showing as he's making his way through the field.
Yeah, and that last lap, he had about 4/10 on our leaders up at the front, and the cars right ahead of him had over a second on them. So, I mean, he's definitely got the pace as they make their way down through McPhillamy Park now and start the run down through Skyline as we go through this challenging section once again. And look at this, as John Allen, literally, as they go through the dipper there, just inches away from the walls, first on driver's left, then on driver's right. And again, it's just that rhythm. And I mean, it can't just all be car placement. If you have to think about where to place the car going through there and keep the speed up, I can't imagine that you'd be able to stay ahead of the car itself. But he's managed to do it. And now let's jump back over to this battle for the lead in the AM category. It is still Eugene Weber, Dean Dibdall. And I'll tell you, it is a long way till you get back to the third place. Matt Catilla in the number 137 car. You can just see him there about 25 car lengths back. He's currently running third in the class. But now look at this, is Robert Hartley. He's going to try and overtake both of our AM category drivers as they come through the chase. He's going to get it done on Dibdall, it looks like.
He's going to let these guys play for their own class battle behind him, where he would like to leave them here in a couple of corners. He's going to be the inside of Weber here on the last corner of the track.
And Dibdall, for a second, I think, was thinking about following Hartley through, and actually now is side by side with Weber. As Dibdall has the inside position as they come down towards Hell Corner. The question is whether or not he's going to be too far up on Hartley as they come through the corner now, and Dibdall manages to get around the 54 car, but the 54 car, he squared that exit off just a little bit. We'll see if he tries to make the move as they get to the end of the mountain straight here and head up the hill towards Griffin's Bend. We got that little rise here, then it drops quickly back down again, as you see right there. But the 54 machine, he's sticking to the inside on Dibdall.
He wants that position, but he can't hold it.
No,
Dibdall wisely drafting behind Hartley. I was joking around about his I rating. Just for grins, I went and checked. 9,715. I believe that puts him 5th highest in road racing, iRacing on the entire platform.
Oh my gosh.
This guy's experienced. That's why he's doing what he's doing. He's 8.5 seconds out of the lead, currently in 7th, trying to get up to this pack of the top 6. So Hartley now leading the second pack. This top group, though, They are quick right now, and everyone's going to start fighting. This is the point in the first race where everyone started making
That's
moves.
right. About 5 to go, and here we go. About 5 minutes to go. About 3 laps to go here as John Allen is your leader. He's got Caleb Lavender as they start to make the run down the hill and through the S's once again.
The wild card to me here is Soto, the newcomer to the pro class, because he was the guy that was pretty strong in the AM ranks a year ago. Always seemed to find himself in a couple of races with this group. Now he's actually running amongst them, and he's a bit of a wild card. The other guys seem to run together a lot. I don't know how much time they have with Soto. He might be the guy to try to make the moves that these guys want around him. They won't expect.
Now the one car missing here. Remember, we had been watching this lead pack. It had been a 6-car battle. Brennan Horn has dropped off quite a bit. He's almost 4 seconds back now.
A little damage there.
Yeah, and he's got a nice little pocket all by himself. He's got a long way back till you get to Robert Hartley
hunting him down.
Exactly. Let's take a look here at the battle for the lead. Soto runs through the grass. It might have had a little bit of contact there with the 333 of Lavender. Lavender recovers, but he drops a position. Both he and Soto make the run down into Murray's corner, but John Allen, he's going to hold not only on to the lead.
Oh, he's wide. He hits Lavender on his inside. Soto now parked, stranded right side of the track. He's done. The next pack coming through is going to try to avoid him.
Yeah, and it's right on line there, coming through the exit there. So that is going to drop Soto now all the way back into 12th position, and he's got some damage there from hitting the wall. But let's take a look. It looks as though the 333 of Lavender did not do so well in that exchange either. Again, Soto came across and gave him the tap there on the exit of Murray's corner. John Allen, he's going to hold on to the lead for the moment. Mike Dam, Travis Schwenke, the 2 Orion Racing drivers, and Schwenke, he is side by side with Lavender as they come up towards Griffin's Bend and make their way up the hill here. We've got Lavender drivers left. Now the track's going to switch back over, but the 16 of Schwenke, he now takes over the position. So Caleb Lavender goes from running in second now all the way back to 4th.
A break after what went on in that first race where he was in the lead with 2 corners to go and gets bumped by a mistake from 93 Mike Dam, which ended up bumping him back to 3rd for that race. Now he's again in that position, in that top 2, and all of a sudden a little bit of contact with Soto. Soto completely, it had nothing to do with Lavender. He was innocent in this. It was Soto that hits the wall on the right, came back on the track, gets in front of Lavender. Lavender loses position, but not over yet.
All right, there we go. Robert Hartley now gets around Brennan Horan. So move Hartley up to 5th. He's made up 19 positions here on the mountain.
Amazing.
In less than 30 minutes. And we have now a little bit under 3 minutes remaining here from Bathurst as they make the run down the hill. Horan now drops back to 6th in the pro category. Dean Dibdahl manages, and here it is right now, right 3rd and 4th cars in line. The 2 cars with the 1 car with 2 red mirrors and the 1 car with 1 red mirror.
He's missing one of his red mirrors there.
There you go. It's hanging down. The 19 of Dibdahl, the 54 of Eugene Weber. That is the battle for the lead in the AM category as they make the long run down here into the chase. And Weber wanting to use the draft, not quite close enough, and he drifts a little wide, But at this point, maybe Dibdahl's advance being stunted a little bit by Horn and Hartley just ahead of him. So let's take a look here.
Horn's definitely limping along. Dibdahl able to take advantage of that gun by, but we'll check.
Well, I don't know. I think Horn's managed to get back around Dibdahl. Let's take a look here as they come out of the final corner. And Deaton Dibdahl, he's going to get back behind, and Weber now drafted right back up.
Should be white flag out last lap.
Yep, white flag in the air here from Bathurst.
So this is the battle. We got 5th on down. The battle, of course, in class is Dibdahl and Weber running 7th, 8th overall. But we've got a battle on our hands for the lead. That's John Allen in the 101 ahead of Mike Dam, the 93. They've created a gap with Schwenke and Lavender. It's a 2-horse race with about 2.5 miles to go.
All right, here we go. As now Dibdall trying to get around the 45, can't get it done, and that move to the inside, that has allowed the 54 Weber to get a great run, but you can see there lost a lot of grip as he rounded the outside. He's going to lose, I think, a position not only to the number 60 of Thorman, but also to David Payton. So Eugene Weber, who was fighting for the lead in the AM category, he's now going to find his way past 2 out-of-class drivers to get back up to Dean Dibdall with just about 3/4 of a lap remaining here from Bathurst.
Here's our leaders, though. It's going to be Dam chasing down Allen. Last time across the top of the mountain as they are down heading towards the Dipper for one last time. Allen's car so far looks clean. Dam's car also looks very clean. Probably 2 of the only clean ones left in the field. Right. As the body shops in and around this area of Australia are going to be pretty busy in the next couple of days.
That's
Put
right.
Mirrors back on cars.
That's right. Stock up on your MX-5 rear quarters and mirrors.
Great run for Mike Dam off of that, but I think the elbow run for Allen was almost as good.
Yeah, and that time by Larry, he didn't have the opportunity. We saw him check up with a couple laps to go in the first race. Did not do it here.
Here it comes though. Dam's got the run. Which way is Allen going to let him go? Inside or out? Does Dam know his braking point? He does. 2 corners to go.
There we go. Allen holds on. Now Dam is going to try to come down driver's left. He's got the position as they make the run down towards Murray's corner. And there you go on the very last corner of the number 93 car. He gets around John Allen as they come through one last turn onto the front straight. And there you have it. The number 93 car, Mike Dam, Orion Racing. He's going to hold off John Allen at the line. Let's see who comes across. Look at this. In 3rd position, it is Robert Hartley.
Wow.
The number 3 Orion Racing driver makes up 21 positions in 30 minutes on the mountain to take the last spot on the podium. Brennan Horn, he's going to come home in 4th. Chris Thorman, 5th. Taking the win in the AM category and finishing 6th overall. Dean Dibdall, driver of the number 19 ZP Motorsports machine. Then Eugene Weber will come home in 2nd, finishing 3rd. In the AM category is Matt Catilla. So a great run there from those drivers. An exciting race. And who would have thought that Robert Hartley would end up on the podium?
We were watching him, and then we blinked for a second, and he found another 6 seconds of track time and a couple of positions. He was able to get on by Lavender, who we did not see. What we did see was he and Schwenke were close by. We saw Schwenke looked like he had a flat left front tire as he crossed the finish. So somewhere along that line, Lavender and Schwenke might have come together, which helped.
Yeah. I was going to say that was the wow. We didn't see him at the end, and that was Caleb Lavender, who's sitting in the pits, and we'll have to see what the stewards have to say. I don't know, with a lot of damage there. Dennis, before we go to break, is there any way that we could possibly roll back and see what how that might have ended up?
If we can catch a replay of that, we're going to try and take a look at that. But I will say that it's a heartbreaking night for Caleb Lavender. Having been basically a chance to win or finish 2nd first race, gets tapped on the second to last corner, comes home in 3rd tonight again in the lead, has the side-by-side completely unrelated to him, and ends up losing some position, and then it just went from bad to worse. Somewhere along that last lap, some contact was made, and he ends up dead last. I think we're going to catch a replay here.
All right, let's take a look and see exactly how this played out, Larry.
And there he is, trying to make the move on
into
Schwenke.
The grass. Oh.
And it just was no daylight there for Lavender. That was aggressive, perhaps a bit too aggressive.
Maybe a little too aggressive there. 2 wheels in the grass, and just nowhere for that 333 machine to go. So for 2 races in a row, things just do not play out well for the D2D E-Racing Caleb Lavender. All right, so Larry, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll speak to some of our podium finishers here tonight from Bathurst. You have just watched 2 mind-blowing, breathtaking 30-minute sprint races from the mountain, from Mount Panorama here at Bathurst, and we'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
All right, we're back here at Mount Panorama. I'm Greg Ginsburg, along with Larry Lefty McLeod for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series, presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics. And Larry, you know, it may be overkill to say this, but I don't think we can get any better tonight. And we still have, oh my gosh, we've still got like 6 more rounds of the Classic Sprint Series.
This is round 2. Are you kidding me?
2 and 3, yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable night. 2 fantastic races and 2 great finishes among both of the classes in each of those races. So let's break this down and let's get to these results. This was amazing.
All right, well, tell you what, we've got Dean Dibdahl, who is our winner tonight in both AM category races, both in race 1 and race 2. Driver the number 19 ZP Motorsports Mazda Miata. Let's bring him on in.
Dean Dibdahl, boy, those of us here who have been calling this race are exhausted. I can't imagine what it's like to be driving out there in this excitement. You had a great battle, both races there with Weber. Walk me through your battles and able to come out on top in both races.
My whole strategy through the whole race was just to survive. I didn't want to touch the walls. That would just cause too much damage. And my main goal was just to survive the race and just follow. And the main way to pass was just crashes out front. Just hope those would happen. And then just have great battles with the people around me. And I had a great fight for first place in the category.
Yeah, and that, you know, we noted that if you go on back and watch the replay later on, that you were being very patient, especially in the first race, to just let things happen in front of you and not to push it too much. And eventually Weber gets tangled up there with Vargas and ends up taking him, getting taken out there, giving you that for round 1 victory in the class. And then race 2, though, it seemed you had a lot of things going on. Battles with him. Soto comes back and ends up clobbering the wall, and the whole field has to go on by. You've got Hartley, who makes the amazing run from the back of the field. Are you watching these going on around? Are you watching people like Hartley come through and in a way, I don't say letting him, but keeping to your battles in class? Or are you trying to latch on to Hartley a little bit as he's flying by?
I was trying to latch on to Hartley to get by Eugene for the class win. And I was just hoping he would carry me a little bit forward since I was struggling a little bit time-wise.
Yeah, and that worked out pretty well because I think it gave you an opportunity to kind of put some daylight in between yourself and Eugene. And in the end, you got him by a couple of positions. In fact, looks like overall you're going to end up 6th in this race, in addition to taking that AM class victory. But just an amazing night to survive, as they say, survive in advance, sort of tournament style tonight. But a great job by you to take victory in both these rounds. And it's a pretty good way to start the season between last time out and now 2 victories in class tonight. You got to feel pretty good here as the season's underway.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about the start of the season, and I'm hoping the rest of the season ends out just as well.
Well, we'll be watching for sure. And I'm sure you got some folks you want to thank for tonight's victories.
Yeah, I'd like to thank ZP Motorsports and my family just for supporting me throughout this whole race. Mostly my dad. He just supports me so much.
Absolutely. Sometimes our best crew chief is the one that gave us the first ride, and sometimes that's dad. So awesome tonight. I'm sure ZP Motorsports folks are watching intently and thrilled with the performance tonight. So, Dean, good job with the 2 victories, and cannot wait for another round of this. This was so exciting.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Dean Dibdahl, our winner in race 1 and race 2 in the AM category, driver of the number 93 ZP Motorsports Mazda Miata. Larry, now let's bring in our winner from race number 2. That is Mike Dam, driver of the number 93 Orion Racing Mazda Miata.
Mike Dam has joined us, and Mike, we got a lot to talk about. Not only how that second race went down, but how that first race went down. Let's talk about the first race first, as you were in that mix the whole time through, and then it came right down to coming into the chase. Kind of walk me through what happened. Was there a clutch brake mix-up there?
Okay, so first off, I just want to say sorry to Caleb because that's not what I wanted to do at all. Yes, I switched into what we're calling here the turbo gear 6 in the draft. Travis, I think, was going to let me buy. That's what the idea was. and then I think maybe Caleb broke just a little early, but I totally missed my breaking point. I wasn't paying attention, and but I tried to avoid him, but by the time it came down to it, we touched. So um, not
Yeah.
really happy about that, but
An unfortunate ending to what was a fantastic race, and for Travis ends up getting the victory, but I'm sure not the way anybody wanted it to happen. But let's put that aside. We get to the second race, and it just seemed to be, a little less patience by everybody because you had some other folks in the mix. You had Soto up in there, you had Vargas up into there, and it really kept you guys on your toes, jostling around to where you had to really work to stay in that front pack. Are you at that point? Are you in survival, or you're really at that point thinking I just got to be in the top two positions to fight for the win?
yeah, I mean it's really difficult. You can't get away here, so there's kind of usually there's a bit of like a fuel strategy you're gonna implement. That doesn't exist in sprint races, so um, yeah, it was pretty much down to um, you know uh, timing your attack and not trying to be too far back in the pack because it's hard to see. You're forced to follow pretty close because of the draft, and going through those twisties at the top of the hill, it's easy to tag a wall because you can't see nothing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely nice to be out in front and hit your marks, and let them kind of, tango in the
Yeah.
background. But
Well, as it played out, you get down to about that last lap, and as you guys come across with a white flag lap, there's some daylight behind you with Swanky and Caleb back down there a little bit to probably where you didn't have to worry so much about that second move coming from behind you. You could just focus on John in front. At that point, you're just thinking, let me hit the elbow as good as I can.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was just kind of at that point I gotta, set it up for that run down the back straight. And John had an absolutely monster lap on the second half down the hill. He gained like 6/10 on me. I'm like, uh-oh. So I really was under the pressure to hit the forced elbow well, and luckily I did. I went in there so hard, and I don't know how I got it stopped. But yeah, and then it was down. Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna be able to, get that pass off. Luckily, I was able to force John into breaking late, and I was able to get the over under. So, really good finish there.
Yeah, I think I even heard on the chat John give out a no. I think his went
Yeah.
by him heading toward the last quarter. But tremendous race, took all of our breath away. Both races were just amazing tonight. And congrats on taking home one of these two victories. Tough fought all around. And of course, your teammate there, we'll talk to him in a minute, getting that first round victory. But for you tonight, round two, getting this victory in the second race, anybody you want to thank for that?
Yeah, just all the guys we race with here. It's a lot of fun. The competition's high. Ryan Race Team, and just Frank at Ricmotech for putting this on, and you guys for broadcasting. Thank you.
Well, congrats, Mike. Well-run race on race number 2 there to take that victory, and this series is going to come down to who can collect all the points at the end and who can be consistent. And right now, you're on your way. So, congrats there, and we'll see you in the next time out.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, there you go. Mike Dam, our winner from race number 2 in the number 93 Orion Racing Mazda. And now why don't we switch over and give Orion Racing all the love. We're going to bring in Travis Schwenke, driver of the number 16 Orion Racing car. He took the win in race number 1.
All right, we've got Travis, our race 1 tonight winner. And Travis, let's focus on that race. And it seemed for a while you and Brennan were having this battle there, I think for 5th and 6th, if I remember, and kind of fading a little bit, trying to catch on to the front pack. Did you guys suddenly start working a little bit together to catch up and give yourself that chance to be there in the end?
I think we were working the whole time. I was struggling a little bit at a forced elbow, like being fifth in the train there to make sure I was kind of waiting too long to get on power. And as I started figuring that out, I started being able to match then and not lose any time. So with the train like that, and I haven't driven the car here in a while, it was kind of iffy, right? I didn't want to I didn't want to run in the back of someone, but it meant I was just waiting a little too long and not getting the traction out of there that I needed to. So once we figured that out, we caught back up, and
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it comes down to those last couple laps. It's the battle, and as you guys are going up the hill with about 3 laps to go, there's the big tangling between, I think it was between Rob and John Allen. Somehow you made it through there. I don't know if there were cars flipping around you, but you end up, I think, at that point in second, if I recall.
Yeah, so all I saw was John underneath Rob, and I thought they were going to stay like that. And John said his car just bounced over, and it totally did. And I thought I was going to go right in his door, and somehow I went right through him. I have no idea. I told them my lag switch works. I don't know what the heck happened, but I went right through with absolutely zero damage.
Yeah.
And I was in on my screen. I was in his door.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Amazing. The car makes it through. Whatever
Yeah.
iRacing calculations, it works in your favor. You got about 2 laps to go. But Caleb's, he's 2 seconds out. You made up ground within a lap to have a shot at this at the end. Between yourself and then of course you've got Mike coming up behind you. But you made up that ground, and then you're coming down towards the chase on the last lap, and give me your perspective of how that all went down.
So I missed the first race, and I might miss another one. And I just told Mike, I said, I'm gonna if you have a run, even though I have a run on Caleb, I'll let you have it because for the points, right? It was just a team thing to do and give him the points.
Sure.
And I let him go, and he just missed his break point, and I was just watching it unfold. I didn't expect it at all. I expected, okay, maybe he'll get inside, and I can get Caleb as well still, because I definitely had a run on him. So I was kind of hoping for second at that point, but I definitely would have taken third without any issues. And it just unfortunate. Mike felt horrible. He could barely drive after that. So yeah, it was good for him to come back then in the second race and put it all together. So he felt horrible. I know he sent him a message right away. So it was definitely not the way we drew that up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was reading some of the chat there. I'm sure Caleb and his issues he's had over the years and some of the bad luck that's gone his way that didn't really help him out, but he was still able to finish for the podium spot in the first race. That was good for him. In the second race, you guys seemed to come together there on the last lap with what may have been let's say an optimistic move, but at that point you guys weren't fighting for the lead. Unfortunate way to finish that one, but you get the victory in round 1. Your teammate gets the victory in round 2, and Robert comes back and I believe winds up on the podium
he
in
did,
race
yeah.
2 for Orion Racing. So great night for Orion, kind of a big sweep for you guys. For all this success, who do you want to thank? Maybe starting with the Orion team.
Yeah, I definitely thank the Ryan team, and none of us. I got in first in here, and threw a decent, what I thought was a decent setup together. It was just a slight modification to something we had before, and gave that to Mike and Rob, and they just showed me that I'm the old man on the team by out qualifying me. So that's the way it goes. So I know I can't blame the setup. I have to accept that for what it was, and go from there. But yeah, definitely thank my teammates and stuff, and even John Allen for the support tonight. So it's good stuff.
Absolutely. And great congratulations to Orion Racing team, yourself on race 1 victory. And of course, Mike for the round 2 victory. And you guys just one heck of a run tonight. Looking forward to how this is going to play out. These races, 2 rounds now, have been fantastic. Hopefully you don't miss too many more, because I think when you're in the mix there, it's a whole lot of fun to have another strong competitor out in front of this pack. So congrats tonight, Travis, on a great run.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, there you go. Travis Schwenke, our winner from race 1, driver the number 16, Orion Racing Machine. All right, so Larry, as we get things wrapped up here from Bathurst, of course, reminder to everybody, please, if you haven't done so already, go ahead, click on that big thumbs up button, and go ahead and subscribe to Apex Racing TV and click on the notification bell to find out when we go live with all that racing action. And of course, you can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. Just search for one single word, Apex Racing TV. So, Larry, let's take a look at what we've got coming up. We're going to start off with what we have next week. Next Monday night, 8 p.m., our GT3 and LMP2 racers, they are going to be going to the Hockenheim ring, all right? And once again, another 75-minute race, multiple pit stops. You don't want to miss the action there. And, of course, the Classic Sprint Series is going to return in 2 weeks. Going to head back to North America, going to head to Birmingham, Alabama's Barber Motorsports Park. We're going to go back to our 60-minute race format with a pit stop thrown in for good measure there. That is going to be Monday night, February 7th, of course, 8 p.m. And it's a little while out, but our Lamborghini Trophy Series, the single mark fixed setup Lambo Trophy Series returns in May. But I want to talk very quickly about the Ricmotech World Challenge. As we mentioned, next week we're going to be at the Hockenheim Ring, but we are still looking for new drivers to join this series. We're going to be at Hockenheim and we're going to be at the Hungaro Ring. Then we head to Mid-Ohio, and great track for LMP2 cars and GT3 cars, Le Mans, Watkins Glen, and of course Road America. We are still accepting entries. You can, as long as you make it in before round number 3. So you got a long way to go till almost the end of February. Go ahead and hit us on up at extrememotorsports99.com/world-challenge, and you too can join in on the fun. All right, so for Larry Lefty McLeod, for Dennis Branch, for Jonathan Grabowski, I'm Greg Ginsburg, and we will see you next Monday night from the Hungaro Ring. Everybody have a wonderful week.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.